Hello, my name is Scott Garrison. You may remember me as Scott the Barber or just as Ron and Carla's son. I've been involved in our community since opening Scott's Barbershop on the southeast corner of 3rd and Main in 1998. Now I'm back in the same building as Garrison Financial. I started investing in my 20s. I invested through the dot-com crash and the Great Recession. I started caring for other people's money in 2018, and I truly enjoy sitting down with my clients, understanding their wants and needs as well as what keeps them up at night. Whether my friends just want me to invest a little of their savings or want me to work with their tax and legal professionals to strive towards optimal efficiency, we can do it all. I believe communication is key to helping my clients reach their goals. For if we are faithful over a few things, we shall be given more. Contact me at scott@soonerwealth.com. Securities offered through registered representatives of Cambridge Investment Research, Inc., a broker-dealer member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor. Garrison Financial and Cambridge are not affiliated. This communication is strictly intended for individuals residing in the states of Colorado, Nevada, Oklahoma, and Texas. No offers may be made or accepted from any resident outside the specific states referenced. Cambridge does not offer tax and legal advice.
If you build it, he will.
It's the Skinny on Sports Podcast with Aaron Couch.
I throw balls far. You want good words? Data language.
Talk real sports with a real man.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
And now, here's the be-all, end-all, know-it-all of high school, college, and pro sports. Aaron Skinny Couch with the Skinny on Sports.
We're talking about practice, man. I'm the MVP.
And a good Garrison Financial Friday, Western Oklahoma. Welcome to the Skinny on Sports right here on 98.1 FM. The Sports Animal. Glad to have you along for the next hour. Scotty G not able to join us today, so we'll have to pump him up a different way.
He gave us some topics, though.
He did. We're not going to. I'm afraid none of those are going to work for us.
No.
But I'm sure he'll be back next Friday. I don't know. He might be headed down to the game.
Very likely. Maybe give him the call in.
Call him from the Bash.
From the Bevo Bash?
Yeah, or something like that.
Depends on his route, but yeah.
Yeah, I would advise him. I wouldn't go that route.
I don't think I would
No
go down
chance.
35.
No chance.
No.
It doesn't even matter how early you leave. I wouldn't do it. So, today, college football. We do have a guest coming up at 9:30. Longtime voice of the Clinton Red Tornadoes, Mr. Dennis Smith, is going to join us. Preview the big game tonight. Tell you what happened yesterday in fall baseball and fast-pitch softball regional, super regional tournaments. Look forward to the football games tonight. And also, unfortunately, have to update you on what's going on in Italy at the Ryder Cup. 225-9698 is the phone or the text line. It's 225-9698. Give us a call, shoot us a text. We'll talk about any of those things. Whatever else might be on your mind, feel free to chime right in at 225-9698. If you're going to be outside the listening area, stay in touch with the show to log on to kadsam.com or download the app. The app's got it all. It's got radio. It's got the Penny News. It's got Big Elk and Paragon TV tonight. Big Elk's at Clinton. You've got Hollis hosting Snyder, and then Merritt makes the long trip up to Texoma over there on Paragon TV. And if you miss our show entirely, you can find us anywhere podcasts are. We do it every day. Hello, Jared.
How are you?
Not very good.
Because of the Ryder Cup?
I woke up at 1:30 this morning. Not because of the golf, just because I'm getting old, and that's what happens.
Had to go use the restroom.
Correct. And so when I got back, I was like, what time is it? Oh, it's 1:30. I think they've already started the golf over there.
Oh, yeah.
So I pulled it up on my phone, watched it for a little bit, and thankfully dozed off. U.S. down 4-0. It's only the fourth time in Ryder Cup history that the Europeans have swept a team session. They did it in 2018, the last time this event was played on European soil, in the foursomes, and they did it again today in the morning foursomes, which is the alternate shot portion of the competition. The U.S. never led at any point in any match this morning. And only were all square once in all four matches after the fourth hole. Hovland and Aberg won the first two holes. Homa and Harmon won the next two, so they were all score going into 5. Nobody else was even that close. Hatton and Rom beat Scheffler and Burns 4-3. Same fate for Harmon and Homa against Hovland and Aberg at 4-3. Shane Lowry, Sepp Straka beat Ricky Fowler and Colin Morikawa 2-1. And then Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood beat Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele, who had never lost in any team competition in foursomes until today. So 4-0 Europe. Listen, we could sit here. I could sit here. You could sit here, Jared. We could gripe about who got to play and who didn't get to play. It was asinine not have Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas out there teeing off very first. They are the spark plug of this entire team. They are every time they play. And instead you got Scheffler and Burns. Scotty, I can't make a 3-footer, and Sam, I look completely lost. Burns. He hit his second shot on number 9, par 5. 70 yards left into water that probably isn't even supposed to be in play. Ricky Fowler was terrible, unfortunately. Everybody loves Rick. I love Rick. He was terrible today. And then Cantlay and Schauffele just couldn't. Rory and Tommy Fleetwood were too good. And then Brian Harmon should have never even been on the damn team, but he qualified, so you had to take him. Now, this afternoon, things are looking a little bit more red, and that's good if you're rooting for the U.S. of A. Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas 1 up through 12. Koepka, who should have played this morning as well, and Scotty Scheffler even through 10. Max Homa, Wyndham Clark 1 up through 10. And then there ain't nothing Xander and Colin Morikawa can do. Matthew Fitzpatrick didn't play this morning, came out this afternoon paired with Rory McIlroy. And at one point I think Rory actually had a skirt and pom-poms on about the 7th or the 8th tee. So Fitzpatrick goes par, birdie, 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 eagle, birdie, birdie. He was 7 under through 7 on his own ball. Guess what? You're not going to win. There's just nothing you can do. So there's 6 down through 9 holes. That match will be wrapping up quickly. But as doom and gloom as it was this morning, and it was doom and gloom, if the U.S. can hold on to the 2 matches they currently lead in, and it'd be great if they could flip the other, win 3-1 here, and all of a sudden you're only down 2 points going into tomorrow. That would seem like a dream scenario. 2.5, 1.5 would still put you in the ball game, only down by 3 points, considering what just the tail kicking you took. And as we speak, Thomas and Spieth just won another hole on 13th, so now they're 2 up through 13. So the Americans trying to fight back this afternoon, or over there this afternoon, after just an absolute, like you said, Jared, almost historic beating they took this morning.
By the numbers it was with that start. Remember that feeling, that bad feeling I had, OU going to Cincinnati? I just had that bad feeling of
how'd that work out for you?
Yeah, well, it turns out
I wish it was you were a week late.
Maybe it was this.
A week early,
maybe it was a premonition to this. Maybe this is my bad feeling. That's what it was really towards, was this. And I said that yesterday. It's about playing over there versus over here. That's why I kind of lean towards the Europeans' way. But I didn't expect that kind of a start.
No, that's the whole thing. I mean, here's the deal. Like in the John Rahm, Nikolai Hogard birdied 4 holes in a row. And I know everybody just collectively in their cars or where they're listening went, who?
Yeah.
He's 22 from one of the Scandinavian countries. Sweden, maybe. I don't know. And he's the youngest guy on either team.
Somewhere in Europe.
He comes out and he makes a 50-footer on the first hole and then birdies 4 holes in a row. You're like, see, that never seems to happen for the U.S. That's those things that happen for like Fitzpatrick, 7 under through 7. Bob McIntyre couldn't hit it in the ocean leading up into this event. And the very first hole, he hits it 330 right down the middle, 5 foot, makes birdie, and moves on. It's just. But here's the deal: it's a long, long, long way to go. But the U.S. right now is doing what they had to do in the afternoon matches, and that is salvage something, so that you're not down like 7-1. Because you're down 7-1, it's not looking good.
No.
Even 6-2, like even splitting this afternoon matches probably isn't enough. But right now, up in 2, tied in 1, and going to lose the other. That other one's throw it away. That last one, it's over. So the first 3 matches, If they can get 2.5 of the 3 points available, you feel a little bit better about where you're at with the sessions left tomorrow, and then of course the singles on Sunday. So that's Ryder Cup update for everybody out there this morning. All right, geez, there is so much of this. Fast pitch softball, fall baseball. Right?
Did you get it all?
I got a bunch of it.
Nice.
And I'm sorry. Here's one. I hope TJ's listening. I couldn't find any Arnett stuff. That's the one I couldn't find on the rankings.
I think he's listening. I think he already texted in once.
Yeah, I couldn't find Arnett. Tell us what happened.
There we go.
Got it?
They need to win at 2:00 today.
So did they win 2 yesterday?
We need some scores.
They won 25-2.
Gee.
Did they win both games?
Is that combined?
I don't know. So they must be in the catbird seat. One win, they're going to state. Yeah, one win, they're going to state. So we got a few teams like that in the softball. All right, let's start right here in Elk City. 4A regional tournament. Paul's Valley and Elk City played first. The Elkettes jumped on Paul's Valley early and often. 16-3, the Elkettes win that one. Bridge Creek knocked off McGinnis 23-6 in the second to first round game, I guess. So that set up an elimination game. McGinnis beat Paul's Valley by a run, 15-14. So Paul's Valley is out. McGinnis will play today against Bridge Creek because the Elkettes got out to an 8-0 lead, held on to win 8-3. So you got Bridge Creek and McGinnis at 11. The winner will play the Elkettes at 1. The Elkettes win. They are in the Super Regionals. If not, they'll play another game right after that. So great start to the regional for the Brown and White. 1 win away from a Super Regional berth next week. Weatherford hosted a 4A regional. They actually started on Wednesday. So that thing wrapped up yesterday. Yeah. Weatherford beat McLeod 13-1. So the Lady Eagles are into the Super Regionals. Woodward was down in Cache. They beat Ada. Couldn't find a score, but I know they beat them. They lost to Cache 9-4. So they play today against Ada or whoever Cache beat first for the right to play Cache. They had to win that game twice. They had to beat Cache twice. And then Clinton's season ended yesterday 8-2 at the hands of Sulphur. So that's 4A regionals. They're still a week behind everybody else. Everybody else is playing to go to state from 3A down to Class B. 2A super regionals. Both of the Western Oklahoma teams are out of the tournament. Mangum took the long trip to Pecola. They lost 7-1 and 13-1. Merritt went down to Latta. They lost 8-0 and 13-1. So Merritt and Mangum seasons end in the Super Regionals. All right, Class A fast pitch regionals. Rapo Butler is in fine shape in their regional. They beat Laverne 8-0. Sealing beat Wacomas 13-3. So that set up the losers elimination game. Wacomas knocked out Laverne 6-4. Rapo Butler beat Sealing 8-3. So you got Sealing and Wacomas today. Winner has to beat AB twice, or the Lady Indians are headed to the state tournament. We already have a Western Oklahoma team in a state tournament, Class A. Shattuck beat Tushka. This one started on Wednesday down in Carnegie. It's only 2 games yesterday. Shattuck knocked out Tushka 2-0. Navajo turned around and punched their ticket into the state tournament 9-2 over Shattuck. So Lady Indians of Navajo in the state tournament. Hollis and Sentinel are both out. Hollis actually knocked Sentinel out 5-2. Then they turned around and lost to Bingeroni. Actually, you know what? That's not right. Hollis isn't out. Yeah, they are. They have to be because Sentinel played Sterling. Hollis played Bingeroni. They met. Yeah, Hollis and Sentinel are both out. Hollis knocked Sentinel out 5-2. Bingeroni knocked Hollis out 23-2. And then also in Class A, got a couple of Western Oklahoma teams playing an elimination game today. It started in Cyril yesterday. Cyril beat Apache 10-0. Hydro Weekly clipped Cheyenne Raiden 4-3. Cheyenne was able to beat Apache 11-9 in an elimination game, and then Cyril beat Hydro Weekly 1-0. So Cheyenne and Hydro play elimination game. Winner plays Cyril. Oh, here we go. Hang on a minute. Hollis is still in. Oh, so they played Bingeroni first. Lost. That's right. They played. They lost to Bingeroni first. Then they beat. Like I say, I know Hollis and Sentinel both had to been beat because they didn't play each other first. Yeah, so they'll play today. Bingeroni or come on, Jenna, who are they playing? Help me out. So they'll play. Hollis will still play today. Sentinel is the one that's out. Let's see. Class B at Mountain View Godibo. Mountain View Godibo beat Maud 11-1. Hammond beat Fort Cobb Broxton 4-2. Fort Cobb knocked Maud out 11-10. And then Mountain View Godibo beat Hammond 9-0. So today you got Fort Cobb and Hammond. Elimination game. Winner will play Mountain View Godibo. Sterling is who they'll play. Hollis will play Sterling. Whoever wins that will play Bingeroni. Had to beat them twice. Leedy, up in Leedy. Lady Bison started out things with an 8-0 win over Beaver. Chattanooga doubled up Granfield 4-2. Granfield knocked Beaver out 8-0. And then last night, wild and woolly game. Leedy beat Chatty 12-7 in 11 innings.
So they did beat them.
Yeah, 12-7, 11 innings. So Leedy awaits the winner of Chattanooga and Granfield, and the winner of that game has to beat Leedy twice. All right, fall baseball. Whew. Let's see. I know Canute lost 12-0 in Class A to Worcester. Hydro Weekly was pounded by Oaktahaw 14-0. So Hydro Weekly will play Tushka today. The winner will play Okarche because Okarche beat Tushka, lost to Oaktahaw. So Oaktahaw is in the state tournament. And the winner of Tushka Hydro Weekly plays Okarche for a place in that state tournament. Worcester beat Preston 11-5. Do we know who Canute plays today?
I can tell you. Hold on.
It's whoever Preston beat. God, I can't remember off the top of my head.
I can't.
Oh, no, there it is.
Whoever Preston. Hold on.
Yeah, in the first game, it was Canute.
Okay. Ampo.
Ampo, that's right. I'd say it's a name. I was about to say it's a school you know the name of. Okay, so Ampo and Canute, winner will have to beat Preston to go to the state tournament. That's Class A. Class B, Leedy beat Stewart 17-8 in the first game. They lost to Roth 6-3, so Roth is in the state tournament. Leedy awaits. No. Actually, I think Leedy plays Caney. No. Leedy will play the Caney-Stewart winner. They'll play today. Winner plays Leedy to go to the Class B state tournament. And then also in Calumet, Asher beat Hammond 17-1. Calumet beat Big Pasture 25-3. And then Calumet beat Asher 11-3. Excuse me. So Calumet's in the state tournament. Hammond plays Big Pasture today. Winner has to beat Asher to go to the state tournament. Clear as mud.
Yeah, that's pretty clear. Good job.
Oh, and then Granite. Hang on a minute.
Granite still alive?
Yeah, Granite lost to Mulhall 4-3.
So they'll play Smithville.
Is that who Fort Cobb beat? I'm looking for. Yeah, there they are.
Smithville.
They'll play. Yep, yeah. Smithville, and then if they win that one, they'll play Mulhall again to go to the state tournament. Fort Cobb is there. That is correct. Okay. What about high school football tonight?
There is some high school football tonight. That's right.
Do you know of any?
Well, I know of one big one.
What is it?
It would be, of course, Elk City at Clinton. That's a big one. I had that written down, too, of all the games. Let me bring up the ones that are of interest. Where am I? List. Click. Okay. Last night, Chickasha beat John Marshall.
49-28, I think.
Yeah, pretty handedly. Cash playing outside the district, taking on Southeast. Big game in 4A2, number 5 Blanchard's our AP rankings. Number 5 Blanchard at Newcastle, number 3 Newcastle. Merritt is all the way up at Texoma. Mangum at number 10 Walters. Boone Apache host Hobart. Cordell's at Carnegie. In fact, I think that was last night too.
Yeah, Carnegie won like 56-0.
Yeah. Hooker's at Sayre. Burns Flat Dill City is at Moreland. Snyder at Hollis. I mentioned Weatherford at Woodward? No. Number 8 Weatherford at Woodward. So, really, yeah, those games are happening, but the biggest game in this area anyways is Elk City at Clinton, right?
There's 3 big games, I think, in Class 4A this week. Elk City Clinton, Newcastle Blanchard, and then also Ada Hilldale.
That's at Ada, right?
Yes.
Long road trip for – man, that district is spread out.
Yeah, there's not very many short trips in that in District 4.
There's Ada in the same district like Salisaw and Fort Gibson and Hilldale. That's a long drive.
Boto, Broken Bow.
That's like Guyman and 4A1 almost, like the travel involved for one team or another. If you have to go to Ada or Ada has to go to wherever. Who would be their closest opponent?
Medill, maybe?
Oh, yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, I like Ada. I said that early in the year.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah, you mentioned that
They're
from
kind
the
of
very beginning.
They're kind of under the radar, but their schedule is kind of soft. I don't think they'll have a problem with Hilldale, and their big test will be like week 9 or 8.
9 at Poto.
At Poto, yeah. And then we'll know about the Cougars.
Yeah, at Poto. All right, tonight. So, I mean, the numbers don't favor, at least historically. Now, as Coach Maynard said, so it's a totally different year, totally different teams, and all that history didn't help last year either, because the Elks were able to win. But just for reference, if you don't understand what the Elks are going up against as far as winning at the Tornado Bowl, the last time it happened, I was in high school, and I'm old. 25 years ago, 1998, you want to talk about a rainy, horrible day to be outside.
I found some film on it.
Yeah,
Man.
our intro's got a little film from it. Everybody looked brown.
Yeah,
both teams were brown.
Yeah, the ground was brown. The white, the once upon a time white jerseys for Oak City were brown. And of course, Clinton's maroon was turning brown. It was all brown.
Yeah, it was a good thing we had because if I remember right, was that the last game of the regular season? There might have been one other.
I think I did. I was trying to find.
It may have been week 9.
Was it week 9?
It was 9 or 10. It was 9 or 10.
Because I looked at the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went back. Do you have a 98 schedule?
Oh, that football's downstairs.
God, but does it have the dates on them?
Well, it goes in order. It was
week
October
1, 2.
30th.
Because you go I was at the game, and I went back to 98 season.
Oh, watch this.
And I dated back. Now, is the championship game the first Saturday in December?
Yes, it was.
So I dated it back right there, and I think it was October 30th.
October 30th, I think is right.
1998. That's the date I found.
So would that
going
be
back.
week 9 or 10?
Well, if this is week 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, about 9 or.
It was either 9 or 10.
Yeah,
I cannot remember.
I think it was the second to last game of the year, or regular season game of the year.
I do too.
I think there was one more after that. You know
think
why?
There was too. Clinton may have lost the next one too.
They did. They went to Northeast and lost like 14-7 over at Taft Stadium.
Yeah,
There's a little hangover of getting beat by Elk, and they thought they could just walk in.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it was week 9. I'm looking at it right here. Anyhow,
hey, we may be old, but we remember things.
Some things. Yeah, it was crazy. You know what happened in that game that I don't think I've ever seen on purpose?
What's that?
I had to clean all those pants and jerseys, Coach Hunt. As I say, the one good thing was winning the district. I think that Anadarko game was at home the next week, and so you had 3 weeks to get those white. You even had to have
clean.
A chance to wear them.
Yeah.
So Elk City won the toss. And, I mean, when we say it was raining, it was, pouring down rain. It was an awful night. And elected to kick. Elk City kicked off both halves that year. And it turned out to be amazing strategy. Or maybe it was maybe the Elks deferred. Clinton took the ball, and then they kicked to start the second half. But I can tell you right now, Elk City kicked off both halves. And it was a total, it was just for field position because Coach Roof had, obviously, the faith in that defense, in that environment, to be able to create field position. Because that night, it was going to be exceptionally hard for somebody to go like 80 yards to execute that many, because you were going to have to run a whole bunch of plays to go 80 yards.
Yes.
And, man, that was – I wonder what it had been like now. Because you remember back then, that giant crown in the middle of the field, So all the water was just rushing off into the sidelines. It was
Yeah.
like standing on the sidelines like in ankle to calf deep water as that thing wore on. Holy cow.
Yeah, but the video I found that's awesome, right? We're watching. That's what you want. I mean, there's no threat of the game being postponed or stopped because of lightning. It was just straight rain.
Yeah.
It was that fall rain. It wasn't, I mean, it was miserable, but it wasn't like freezing rain.
No, it was kind of warm. I mean, it wasn't cold.
No, it was just straight rain. It wasn't even windy, just straight rain.
It was just raining.
And it was just a mud hole by the end of that game. And it was a slobber knocker, quite literally. That's just a fun atmosphere.
It was a mess.
Yeah, absolutely it was. Absolutely
Question, didn't we play Guyman after Clinton? No, that was the year before up at Guyman where everybody got hurt.
Oh, darn.
De La Rosa broke his collarbone on a play, on an illegal hit out of bounds. I think Marsh may have rolled his ankle. It was like a triage after but that was the season before. The 97 season when that happened. And it could have been right after the Clinton game. I can't remember the order. It had to have been pretty close. Because Clinton was early. The first in 97, it was a gorgeous day at the Tornado Bowl. That's the game that went into double overtime. And but that was early. That might have even been the very first district game that season.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chopper 4 that was so cool. Back when they'd fly around the state.
Yeah, you knew you were something if you saw a chopper coming.
3 years in a row it was at that game.
BBJ throwing footballs into the stand.
Yes. I remember, I think it was that one, being in the locker room and it landing, and you could just hear the crowd. Well, no, just the crowd yelling back, whatever they were saying. Oh, my gosh. That was a neat. That might have been the year before when it was a nice night. But anyways, 3 in a row, because I remember it landed right here on the practice field in 96 when Clinton won that game like 24-0. But, yeah, fun times. Fun times. Yeah, Jeremy Baker in the corner of the end zone in that double overtime game.
Cool.
Oh, here you go. Here's a fun memory from Edgar. You reading this?
Trying.
BBJ, game of the week, comes in the booth cussing a blue streak. He's dropping F-bombs left and right.
Why? Was he mad or just that's how he talked?
Colorful language. We'll continue the talk about Elk City and Clinton coming up with our old friend Dennis Smith, voice of the Red Tornadoes for a long, long time. Preview the game tonight. We're going to have to ask him about his golf game. He was here yesterday playing in a golf tournament.
Over here?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Skinny on Sports coming back right here on a Garrison Financial Friday.
Hello, my name is Scott Garrison. You may remember me as Scott the Barber or just as Ron and Carla's son. I've been involved in our community since opening Scott's Barbershop on the southeast corner of 3rd and Main in 1998. Now I'm back in the same building as Garrison Financial. I started investing in my 20s. I invested through the dot-com crash and the Great Recession. I started caring for other people's money in 2018, and I truly enjoy sitting down with my clients, understanding their wants and needs as well as what keeps them up at night. Whether my friends just want me to invest a little of their savings or want me to work with their tax and legal professionals to strive towards optimal efficiency, we can do it all. I believe communication is key to helping my clients reach their goals. For if we are faithful over a few things, we shall be given more. Contact me at scott@soonerwealth.com. Securities offered through registered representatives of Cambridge Investment Research, Inc., a broker-dealer member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor. Garrison Financial and Cambridge are not affiliated. This communication is strictly intended for individuals residing in the states of Colorado, Nevada, Oklahoma, and Texas. No offers may be made or accepted from any resident outside the specific states referenced. Cambridge does not offer tax and legal advice.
The Skinny on Sports.
It's in the house.
Welcome back. Skinny on Sports, 98.1 FM, the sports animal. It is a Garrison Financial Friday. Scott was unable to join us today, as he normally is, but he can do everything for you. Full financial planning. He'll shop the open market to bring you the best value on your life insurance and your investments. He manages your investments. Or if you're one of those people that wants to kind of dabble and wants to kind of manage things, you just don't know how to get started, he'll charge you hourly to build a plan that then you can manage. Scott@soonerwealth.com is his address, or email address. 124 North Main is where you can go find him. And new 821-1219 is his phone number. Joining us now is the longtime voice of the Clinton Red Tornadoes. It is Mr. Dennis Smith. Dennis, how are you today?
Hey, I'm great. How are you, Jared?
Doing well. I got to ask you, how was your golf game yesterday?
It Let me say, nobody was in danger of me shooting that. I might have shot my weight. I'll put it like that.
Now, did Brett and Anthony carry you guys around the course like they should have?
Oh, without saying, both of them were members of state championship golf teams, and both of them were pretty good golfers in their own right. So, me and my partner Pat Cornell, we were playing their balls mostly. I'll just put it like that.
Well, I hate to put you on the spot, but was Matlock's cooking or his golf better yesterday?
You know what? I thought he did a pretty good job of both of them. I ate one of those hamburgers. That was excellent. But he's a pretty good golfer, too.
Yeah. Man, it's a good day. It got a little bit hot, but for the most part,
it was very enjoyable.
Okay, let's look ahead to tonight. The Red Tornadoes kind of so far beat who you thought they'd beat and maybe lost to who you thought they had a chance to losing to, but it does feel like coming off of that McGinnis loss without Collins, things are starting to round into form for Clinton. Just kind of break down how it's gone so far this season for the Reds.
Well, we did, just like Elk City, we've taken on some pretty good non-district teams. I think we've come through that little grind, fairly good health. We did lose a starting corner and a wideout in the first game, and that's you hate to lose a kid. He had really played well in the summer or the fall practices, and you hated to see for his sake because he'd kind of come into his own. But we lost him, and I say for the season. Last I heard, it was going to be a while before he comes out. I shouldn't say for the season, but it's going to be a while before he's able to play, if he's able to make it back. Other than that, I think, other than the normal bumps and bruises, I think we came to it in pretty decent health. The effort against McGinnis was very commendable because we come from way down and tied it up and then fought them toe-to-toe. I mean, we were our own worst enemy. We turned the ball over 4 times, which, but for that, I feel like we probably could have won the ball game. They never stopped us, but conversely, we didn't do a very good job stopping them either. So, and it kind of turned into a shootout. And again, turnovers are terrible anytime, but in a game when we feel like you're pretty evenly matched, they can be deadly, and that's what happened.
Talk about, Dennis, Jared here, talk about we'll start on the offensive side. We always look at Clinton and go, okay, who's going to be the guy carrying the ball? Who's going to be that next Clinton running back? In this case, it might be a fullback. Talk about Collins and his impact to the offense.
Well, he's looked very well in the early going. He plays fullback and tailback offensively. It just kind of depends on the situation. We're blessed with some good skill players. Contavian Hill and then Darren Hester have both looked good at times back there. So it's given the coaching staff a little bit more latitude on what they can call and keep people fresh, things like that. But I believe Zayden Collins probably, and he was a tough load to handle last year as a sophomore, but I believe he's faster and stronger than he was last year, and he looks it. He's a load. And the other two are more finesse. I mean, they've got great speed. If they get into they get by, make 1 or 2 people miss, you're going to have to run them down. And they're not as much of a power back as he is. He can do both. He can run over you, or he can just flat out run you. He's pretty fast himself. So Clinton's blessed with having some decent tailbacks this year.
And it always seems like no matter who is returning or who's not returning, the Red Tornadoes figure it out up front as well. And the offensive line obviously is doing a really good job of creating holes for those guys to run through so far this season.
Yeah, they're getting better. We're actually pretty young on the offensive line. We had 2 guys returning that saw significant action last year. So we got 3 new players that are underclassmen that are in the offensive line. and there's been some good things. We've seen some good things. We've seen some learning experience. Of course, by this time of the year, we're getting to play our fifth game, I believe. Mid-season, you're hoping that everybody's pretty settled in the position. For once, they do have a little bit of depth. They've got a couple of other kids that have played some, and don't seem like we miss too much when they come in. And it's important, of course, for 4A football to have a little bit of depth. Any depth is great in 4A football.
I mentioned, Dennis, this matchup. I mentioned this when I called you. This matchup between Elk and Clinton. I mean, everyone's going to look at skill positions. That comes natural when you're watching a football game. You're just a novice fan, but we as professional, I'm air quoting here, on air personalities, we look at the line. I look at the line, offensive line, defensive line. That's where I feel like these two teams are really good at, and they're going to clash tonight. Talk about Clinton's offensive line, defensive line, the interior there, and what we can expect to see tonight.
Well, much like the offensive line, defensive line was kind of faced with the same issue as far as returning people, and we've got two back, both the same two that play on the offensive side, they play on the defensive side. Both of those young men have been multi-year starters, have played well. They're both seniors this year. I'm talking about Layden Fuller and Montel Crane. And they've been mainstays. Layden Fuller has started since he was a freshman at nose guard. And everything kind of starts from there. And he's a load. But Montel Crane has a little bit of extra quickness that a lot of people misjudge him. He's not the biggest guy, as Layden Fuller isn't either. But they're both have that ability. They're strong, and they have a little bit of quickness. And they both are having a really good season. Now, we've got some other young men that are stepping up. We've got a couple of juniors that have looked well, that have stepped in. And so far, like I say, I think they're playing pretty well. I think we noticed some issues early, but I think as they've kind of settled in, and again, we've got one or two that's been able to fill in. I noticed we had a sophomore play pretty good the other night. I would be surprised to see him step in a little bit more than maybe he has been. So I think Coach is hopeful that the depth stays healthy, or everybody stays healthy, and we keep that depth. And it's great to be able to spell some of these players, since the majority of our players do go both ways, as I suspect most of Elk City's does as well. It's great to have a little bit of depth, so you can rotate some folks in and out.
We're speaking with Dennis Smith. He's the longtime voice of the Clinton Red Tornadoes, previewing the game tonight between Elk City and Clinton. Dennis, it seemed early on maybe the secondary was the weak link and maybe some new guys in there that haven't got to play a bunch. But listening to Coach Higbee, I think after last week, moved some guys back, maybe some more veteran guys at the safety spots. How did that help last week against John Marshall?
Well, I think it was a definite improvement. We were very young. When I say young, very young in the secondary. And there was some issues. He moved some people from different positions, kind of changed that up a little bit. Going by what happened last week, I'd say I'd agree with him. It was successful. Now, I don't, John Marshall was missing a player or two, but they're not the team that we're facing tonight. I believe this is Coach Maynard's second year, and he came in with Coach Meadows, who's very familiar to Clinton football fans, and Coach Meadows brought that edge that he could get his teams to play, and as far as I can tell, Coach Maynard has continued that. And I believe, like I say, I think it'll be a dogfight tonight. The secondary was an issue. Again, I'm not sure how much it was tested last week. I wouldn't be surprised to see Elk City try to test it a little bit tonight.
How cool is it that I know we really enjoyed? I'm going broader here with the whole district, that the perennial favorites right now is Clinton, Elk City, and Weatherford in any order. It feels like old times. You like it when it's like that?
Actually, I do. That's been one of the unique things about District 4A1 over the years is generally the three westernmost cities I call it Elk City, Clinton, and Weatherford, they've usually been in the hunt, been right there, a combination. Sometimes, I mean, there's several years that I know that we played each other in the state finals, and so it's kind of a unique situation that I'm dating myself a little bit, probably, but I can remember in the 90s playing Weatherford and Elk City both at least a couple of times for the state championship, and I think we pretty well split with both of them. You know, probably played them at least twice. We may have played Weatherford more than that. It seemed like we played them a lot in the state semifinals there in the 90s. But I remember a couple of years that Elk City was on a ride, and at least, and we got them one time, and they got us the next. So, yeah, it's a unique situation. I felt like that was probably the three teams that would be in the fight preseason. Just wasn't sure what order, wasn't familiar with who had what coming back. I was concerned about Clinton. I knew they lost quite a bit. They'd lost quite a few seniors last year, key seniors, and thus far been pleased, pretty pleased with with the youngsters that's come in. And again, it's hard to say. I'm optimistic that Clinton has turned the corner, but it's hard to tell. The last week's game, again, I'm not taking anything away from John Marshall. I know they had some players missing, but they're just not up to caliber as what I expect Clinton and Elk City will show tonight.
What is it about that place, and when I say that place, I mean the Tornado Bowl, that just gets into other people's heads? Is it something that obviously Clinton's really good most every single year, and that certainly helps, but it does feel, at least from this side of the rivalry over here, I do remember those 2 years in the 90s. You know why? Because that's the last time Elk City won over there, was in that downpour in 1998. And it feels like it just feels like teams are beat before they ever get off the bus when they come to the Tornado Bowl. What is it about that place that makes it that way?
I think probably a lot of it is Clinton's been very fortunate. They've had some very good coaches over the year. Of course, it kind of started in the 60s and carried over into the late 70s and 80s through the 80s when Coach Meadows was here, and then of course Coach Lee come along and for a couple of decades maintained that tradition and whatnot, and of course Coach Higbee, who's in charge now, has already won one state championship, and you always feel like if you can win one, you can win two, and of course I know that's his goal every year as it is the players, and I'm pretty sure probably Elk City players have the same goal. I don't know so much. I think it's just the air of it being a bowl, and it's this started before I came around, and it was already like that when I was here. I'd heard about Clinton and their tradition and all that, and of course I've seen a lot of those games over the years done, probably more than any of them from a broadcaster standpoint. It's unique. I think it's just the attitude of the players and the expectation of the town. Lots of football fans in Clinton. They expect to see good things, and I've often contended, that kids are kids, and they're gonna learn. Just and when you're talking high school football, you're dealing with 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds. Some learn faster than others. Okay, I mean that's just life.
Yeah.
But it's just something about if they're going to play, and they expect when they want to play, they want to be involved. There's just something about their feeling and the expectations that they take into it, and I think that just carries on into their careers. I've seen it happen generation after generation after generation. And again, I don't want anybody to misquote me. I think we've had exceptional coaches. I think all of those coaches I mentioned, I didn't, and my mind's going blank on the first one, the one in the 60s that Coach Engel coached with him.
Frazier.
Of course, Ron Engel from Elk City. And
Are you thinking of Frazier?
my mind has gone blank all of a sudden, but I know that was kind of established. He had a really good run there in the mid to upper late 60s, came back and coached a few years, and then Coach Meadows came in. I think he won 3 while he was here. And then Coach Lee, like I say, he's a legend, Hall of Fame coach, National Hall of Fame coach, very envious record. But the thing that's unique, and I believe this is probably true of all these coaches, kids that play for them, and it wasn't easy, I'm sure, to play for any of them. 2 of them I can attest to, Coach Meadows and Coach Lee, because I watched a lot of practices. You had to go ready to work. But I was fortunate. I had 2 players play for 2 sons play for Coach Lee. I guarantee you, one of the things they always ask, and neither one of them live in Clinton anymore, but one of the things they always ask is, how's Coach Lee? I can tell you from their own mouth, if he called them tomorrow and asked them to run through a brick wall, they would try to do it. And I believe that's true of a lot of the players that played for him. Now, we're talking about an exceptional coach. Again, I'm not trying to take away from anybody else, but he somehow had the formula, and the kids bought into it. I think it's a combination of all of that makes Clinton a unique place for high school football.
Yeah, Coach Lee terrified me in the high school halls when I'd pass him. That's the effect he had. He terrified me. And but he's a nice guy. He was a nice guy. But I always heard from my buddies the horrible film sessions on Sunday afternoon that even after a win, they're like, oh man, he's going to call me out for that one play that I missed a block on, and lo and behold, that would happen. But yeah, and it was Jim Frazier, I think, you're thinking about back in the 60s.
Jim Frazier, yeah, Tom, thank you.
Yeah.
Very much. I was sitting here thinking I kick myself for that. Coach Frazier, yes, he was the one during the 60s. But no, just and there's been other coaches that have filled in there and had some success over the years. It's again, and you mentioned the film sessions. Everybody that's ever played for Coach Lee, you mentioned Sunday film sessions, and you're going to get a line of stories, and most of them are pretty hilarious.
All right, Dennis, what do you expect to see tonight?
I expect to see a knockdown dragout. I think it's going to boil down to execution, who executes better, who makes the fewest mistakes, and I expect a close game. I think it could go either way. I won't be surprised if whoever comes out victorious, it's a one-score game. That won't shock me. But I think it'll come down to, basic stuff, execution and fewest mistakes. That's generally what most football games are decided on.
Final question for me, will your OSU Cowboys turn it around?
Boy, I wish I knew. I told someone the other day, I said, I was very cautiously optimistic before the season started, but so far I haven't seen anything that's given me a reason to be optimistic. I won't second guess Coach Gundy. He's shown that he can generally get things worked on. Probably good that they have an open week. I hope so. I don't envy who Oklahoma State plays next round. I believe K-State is one of the better teams in the Big 12 this year, and that's a tall order. And then on top of that, they're playing it on a Friday night, which, believe it or not, Coach Gundy hated Friday nights. He did not like playing on Friday nights. He's very loyal to high school football. But, of course, when it's in the contract and your time comes up, you got to, if you're a team player, you got to do what the conference tells you. So, and I think that night, I won't be there. I'll be doing a game in Weatherford, which is another important game for a lot of football fans. But right now, I'd say OSU's just going to have to try to get better in a hurry, because I guarantee the competition's not going to get worse. It's just going to only get better.
Dennis, thanks so much for your time. As always, before these two teams get together, you have such a great knowledge of now and the past over there. It'd be good to see you tonight, and good luck to the Red Tornadoes and you and Alan as well.
Well, thank you very much. I enjoy visiting with you guys, and I expect a packed house. I know Elk City will bring lots of folks. I know Clinton will have lots of folks. It's a great high school football setting. I'd encourage, if you're any kind of football team, regardless of where you live, this is a game you ought to go to. It'll be worth the price of admission.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you all, guys. Good luck.
You betcha. Thank you very much. Dennis Smith, longtime voice of the Red Tornadoes. Take a break, come back, maybe hit a little college football before we wrap up this Garrison Financial Friday. Are we going to Herb Street this deal? We can't make a pick because we're calling the game.
I don't know. I can't.
I don't know is literally how I feel about it. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I think we got two good teams tonight.
We'll be back.
Hello, my name is Scott Garrison. You may remember me as Scott the Barber or just as Ron and Carla's son. I've been involved in our community since opening Scott's Barbershop on the southeast corner of 3rd and Main in 1998. Now I'm back in the same building as Garrison Financial. I started investing in my 20s. I invested through the dot-com crash and the Great Recession. I started caring for other people's money in 2018, and I truly enjoy sitting down with my clients, understanding their wants and needs as well as what keeps them up at night. Whether my friends just want me to invest a little of their savings or want me to work with their tax and legal professionals to strive towards optimal efficiency, we can do it all. I believe communication is key to helping my clients reach their goals. For if we are faithful over a few things, we shall be given more. Contact me at scott@soonerwealth.com. Securities offered through registered representatives of Cambridge Investment Research, Inc., a broker-dealer member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor. Garrison Financial and Cambridge are not affiliated. This communication is strictly intended for individuals residing in the states of Colorado, Nevada, Oklahoma, and Texas. No offers may be made or accepted from any resident outside the specific states referenced. Cambridge does not offer tax and legal advice.
The Skinny on Sports.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Welcome back. Garrison Financial Friday, right here on the Skinny on Sports. Wrapping it up for the week. Update in the Ryder Cup. You've got the U.S. leading in 2 matches, tied in 1, and then they're going to lose the other. Although that 6-up lead is now down to 4, as Shoffley and Morikawa have won a couple of holes in a row. But there's still a monumental task to come back from 4 down with 6 holes to play. But they're trying to scratch it out. The main match is Thomas and Spieth. JT and Jordan, 1 up with 3 to go. Tyrrell Hatton just about drove it onto a par 4 a second ago. But that's a must full point for the U.S. if they want to figure out a way to get all the way back after losing 4-0 this morning. So that's going to be a fun. It's always cool. It's way more fun if it's close instead of just a blowout.
Yeah.
So hopefully the U.S. can get back in there and make a showing and possibly even come all the way back, figure out a way to win this thing. So anyhow, what are your thoughts tonight, Jared? Listening to Dennis talk, I think both of these teams, to me, played extremely tough non-district games for a couple of them. And I think that leads to more questions. It just feels like they're both kind of searching, or was it just the competition was so good that maybe these teams are better than what you think and have it more figured out than what you think, even though they played those really good teams? Yeah,
that's a good point. You got the losses, both teams coming in at 2-2, but to 2 quality opponents. And I've always said it, iron sharpens iron, and I praise the scheduling for both Elk City and Clinton because it gives us games like this. It gives us an anticipation of a really good game because even in those losses, we saw some good things. What it's going to come down to, I keep saying it's the interior, who's going to be able to push who around and create gaps, and because they both love to run the football and who can have some success on the ground. And, you said it, and I agree. So I don't mean to steal your thunder. I'll give you credit, but who can protect the football? Who can hold on to the football? Clinton's given the way. I haven't looked up their plus minus, but it seems like they're a little bit of a fumbleitis going on for the Red Tornadoes and a couple of their backs. If they can hold on to the football and consistently move the football, they probably have success. So Elk City can create some turnovers. That was a major factor in last year's game, was creating turnovers on the way to the win. So I don't expect – it could be a fast game. I don't expect a lot of passing unless it's out of necessity. I expect I think both coaches want to prove that they can run the football, and we're going to see a lot of that. It's going to be one of those old school type. You got Clinton with the I formation, you got Elk City with the flex and everything that they do. Maybe a little I thrown in there as well, and that's what it's going to come down to: is who can push each other up front, who can maintain their blocks and create opportunities.
Yeah,
it's just simple as that. I mean, that's football in a nutshell. And who can do it best?
I think it really is pretty simple. Who's going to be the more physical team? Who's going to tackle better? And who's going to hold on to the ball? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think this is like one of those games that goes back to the literal fundamentals and beginning of football, with the styles that they both want to play, the styles that they want to just impose their will on any opponent, this one included. And I think you're right. It ought to be a really fast game, as long as it doesn't turn into a track meet, which probably doesn't favor the brown and white in that regard in a lot of ways. But, yeah, I think, it's just hitting, tackling, blocking, tackling, and keeping a hold of the football. One thing that could become a factor when you look at the weather forecast, by the time the game starts, the winds may be 25 to 30.
I was thinking about that this morning.
Field position, kicking game, that's a huge issue.
Yeah. When I walked outside first thing this morning, I noticed that wind straight out of south. And that was the first thing that hit my mind was that could create kind of a wind tunnel. There's not much of block on the south side of the Tornado Bowl other than the scoreboard. But that's a thing. It's absolutely a thing.
15 to 25 with 35-mile-an-hour gusts.
But it's only really going to affect the kicking game.
The kicking, yeah. I mean, I don't know how much. I don't think it really matters in the throwing game for either side.
I don't think we'll see a lot of it thrown,
I think it's more from a kicking game / field position point of view. And almost honestly, punting as much as like kicking off or field goal or whatever. I think it's more the punting and being able to either flip field position downwind or figure out a way to create as many yards into that wind with a low punt or what have you. So that's another extra little thing to watch out for, I think, tonight. Real quick around the country, college football tomorrow. Oklahoma hosting Iowa State, like a 20-point favorite. I saw Brett McMurphy tweet out something yesterday. It's very interesting. When you're thinking about the Western Oklahoma Realty College Pick'em, because that game is involved in this week. So the last 6 years, the game before Texas, Oklahoma is 3-3 straight up and 1-5 against the spread. You always heard of the Texas hangover back in Barry Switzer's day and whatever. I wonder if maybe they're in just a little bit of a Texas look ahead more involved right now for OU than what it is even afterwards.
I mean, how could there not be? It's Texas. You got to look ahead to it. Or it's hard not to. I think there's something there. And I think this opponent, though, I don't know if they're going to be able to move the football against OU like they did against Oklahoma State in Norman. There might be more of a focus there. I don't know. At night, too.
Yeah, that's the one interesting part.
It really feels like
you don't get many of those, it doesn't seem like right now.
At night?
Yeah.
No. But they're not Trace Ford, he's been on with the Morning Animals on Thursdays, and was it Thursdays?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they asked him straight up, and he gave a more candid answer, like, yeah, we know Texas is next week, So that's the thing. And Texas was probably in the same boat.
Yeah.
They're human, they're kids. And if there's a game that is more likely to lose, it could be Kansas going to Texas as opposed to Iowa State going to OU.
Yeah, just a better team.
I just don't know about the cover, though. That's a big spread.
Mm-hmm.
You could see Iowa State maybe put one in late or something, but I think OU would be fine.
What about around the country? Good one tonight, man. Utah at Oregon State tonight.
Utah at Oregon State could be good. For Big 12 interest, you got Cincinnati at BYU. Duke hosting Notre Dame. That's a good one in my mind. I mean, obviously game day's there. But can Notre Dame, you talk about hangovers, are they going to have a Ohio State hangover? And, Duke would love to say, hey, we're not just a one-trick pony by beating Clemson. We can beat Notre Dame too. And that place will be rocking. And then, of course, USC at Colorado. Can Colorado bounce back?
Did you see what Prime said?
No.
They were asking him about, there's a pretty lengthy list of celebrities that's going to be there. And they were kind of running down a few of the names. And he goes, well, that ain't near all of it. Half the NBA is going to be here. That's pretty cool.
I believe it.
It's going to be a good time. Also, don't forget, softball this afternoon. The Elkettes trying to punch their ticket into next week's Super Regional. They will play the winner of Bridge Creek and McGinnis. That game is scheduled to start at 11. That Bridge Creek McGinnis game will start at that one starts at 11. The other scheduled to start at 1 o'clock. So the Elkettes, sometime around the 1 o'clock hour, playing the winner of Bridge Creek and McGinnis. You would assume it'd be Bridge Creek just because they beat McGinnis 23-6 yesterday, but you never know. Still got to get there. But either way, the Elkettes will have a chance to punch their ticket into the Super Regionals today, 1 o'clock. Big Elk TV, you can check it out there. Also, of course, tonight, Big Elks and Clinton, 6:15 pregame for the 7 o'clock kick. What I would assume, for me at least, the early lead in 4A1 at stake tonight.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, this is one of those major hurdles for either team. And then, of course, Weatherford game looms for both teams, too. But this is this one will be a big decider in who hoists the district title. By the way, kudos to the softball fans yesterday who showed up. They were loud and distracting my girls on the 8U side. No, they were great. I had the park on over by the Arrowhead. The parking lot was so full. I know there's other games happening, but it was a pretty cool scene. I had some time between games to go and watch the Elkettes defeat Bridge Creek yesterday, and the crowd was great, involved. They just weren't there just to be there. They were there. They were watching. They were arguing pitches and applauding the good hits, and it was awesome. Awesome atmosphere. Keep that going.
You know how I knew the Pauls Valley game was working pretty well for the Elkettes?
How's that?
Jeremy was actually applauding the umpires and their calls. By the way, U.S. up in 3 matches as it goes down the wire here at the end of session number 2. They need them. They need all 3 of them to try to claw back in after losing all 4 this morning. Everybody have a wonderful Garrison Financial Friday. We'll be back Monday to talk about it all right here on the Skinny on Sports.
You've been listening to the Skinny on Sports podcast with Aaron Cow. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to get alerts of when the latest podcast is available. Thanks for listening.
That ball is blistered to right. Way back. Goodbye.
Hello, my name is Scott Garrison. You may remember me as Scott the Barber or just as Ron and Carla's son. I've been involved in our community since opening Scott's Barbershop on the southeast corner of 3rd and Main in 1998. Now I'm back in the same building as Garrison Financial. I started investing in my 20s. I invested through the dot-com crash and the Great Recession. I started caring for other people's money in 2018, and I truly enjoy sitting down with my clients, understanding their wants and needs as well as what keeps them up at night. Whether my friends just want me to invest a little of their savings or want me to work with their tax and legal professionals to strive towards optimal efficiency, we can do it all. I believe communication is key to helping my clients reach their goals. For if we are faithful over a few things, we shall be given more. Contact me at scott@soonerwealth.com. Securities offered through registered representatives of Cambridge Investment Research, Inc., a broker-dealer member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor. Garrison Financial and Cambridge are not affiliated. This communication is strictly intended for individuals residing in the states of Colorado, Nevada, Oklahoma, and Texas. No offers may be made or accepted from any resident outside the specific states referenced. Cambridge does not offer tax and legal advice.